Guys, in this video I'm going to talk about choosing a perfect home base location for traveling around other parts of the Philippines and why it's extremely important to choose the correct home base. Stay tuned. If you're coming out to the Philippines and you're coming here to live, then choosing the right location to live is extremely important for a few reasons. One, you want quick access to the airport. You also want access to the bus station, access to the port so you can take ferries over to various islands. Now, a lot of you might come out here, and I know a lot of guys who will come out here, choose one location, and just really stay put and just maybe travel around the nearby vicinity, but not necessarily do a lot of island hopping or exploring the rest of the Philippines. There are a lot of guys like myself who like to find a good location and have it as a home base and then travel around the Philippines. So I'm going to explain that a little bit more, and I'm going to also name some great locations that I highly recommend. So make sure you watch to the end of the video where I will go over some of those great locations with you. One of the first things that I look for when I chose a home base here in the Philippines was accessibility to the airport. Now, there's a lot of cities and a lot of places where guys will move to and they don't have access to an airport, not nearby anyway. Now, this could be problematic for a few reasons. One, if you ever had some major medical emergency, let's say you're elderly, you want to have access to an airport where you could quickly get over to Manila, Cebu, or maybe a place that has a big, modern, and good quality hospital. Or, God forbid, if you have some major emergency and you want to have the best treatment possible and you want to go back to the States or Canada or Australia, even maybe you want to just take off to Malaysia or Vietnam or Thailand to get some better medical care, then you don't want to be far away from a hospital. So if you are up in age or you have some health problems, choosing a location with a major airport, very important, or at least near a major hospital. Those are all very important as well. So choosing the location with the airport, again, if you're a guy who wants to travel and you want to travel around the Philippines, it's nice to have an airport that's not far away where you can hop over to different islands. Also, if you're looking at doing a lot more international travel throughout Southeast Asia, then you're going to want to be in one of the hubs like either Cebu or Manila, because if you are in a smaller city who has an airport, for example, I'll give you a place that I went to a couple years back called Calbayog, Samar. It had one flight in, one flight out, and that was to Cebu. And it may have had a flight from Manila, I'm not sure, but nowhere else. So you couldn't go anywhere else. You had to fly into one of those. It only left one time per day. I think once in at like 7 a.m. and once out at like 5 p.m. And that was it. So if you wanted to fly to some other island or some other destination, you'd have to schedule where you would leave at one time during the day, arrive in Cebu, and then catch the next flight. So it took up your entire day. So for me, ideally, even though it was a decent city and livable, not an ideal location for me to be able to travel around and therefore make it a great home base for me. Second thing I look for when I choose a home base, and that is a nice bus station. A lot of these little cities won't really have a bus station. They just kind of pick up and drop off like on the side of the road. They don't actually even have a proper bus station. So I do choose a city that has a bus station. For example, living in Dumaguete here, nice bus station. You can go all over Negros. You can even take a bus all the way into Cebu. It takes you over to the port and the bus gets onto a ferry, takes you directly across to Cebu, and you're there. So there's a lot of destinations that you can do even on nearby islands, and the bus just hops onto a ferry and goes across. So that's convenient. So I like having a nice bus station nearby. If you're too much into the province, then you're going to have to travel a bit out, maybe change on some buses. You may have to offload at one city and then hop onto a different bus going to a different area. So bus station is pretty important. It's nice to go around the island and travel, so having that bus station is pretty important. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is the importance of having the ferries or the fast boats over to various locations. Now, and at the end here, stay tuned. Like I said, I'm going to tell you some of my favorite cities to have as a home base and be able to travel around the Philippines and also international destinations. But the importance of having the boats is extremely important. And for example, I'll tell you the city of Davao. I really like it. It's got a great bus system all over Mindanao. It's got a great airport and actually has a few international flights, I think, to Malaysia and a few other places. But what it is lacking is the boats and the ferries. So from Davao, you really can't hop onto a boat and go anywhere. You're subjected basically to either the airport, and if you want to fly somewhere, you're going to have to fly into Cebu, Manila, and then out of the country. It only has a few destinations for international, like Malaysia and one other place, I believe. But there are no boats, so you can't really easily hop over into other islands if you do want to do that. Now, some other places are going to be much better for that. But places like Baguio, a lot of foreigners like Baguio, cooler weather. But again, it's landlocked, it's inland, so there are no boats or anything anywhere. And so you'd have to bus out over to the airport in Manila, which is a long bus ride. You can't just hop over to other islands so easily. You're going to have to take the long bus ride and take a flight out. Places like Tagaytay, again, cooler weather, nice city. Maybe not so nice with the volcano going off right now, but it is nice. But again, landlocked, you don't have any boats going out. I like to have the option of the buses, the airport, and also the ferries to travel around. It really opens up a lot of destinations. So I said at the end of this I would give you some of my favorite cities. So let's go ahead and go through my short list of favorite cities for traveling around in the Philippines and other destinations in Southeast Asia. Okay guys, so here's my top 5 list of perfect places to live in the Philippines for a good home base. In other words, to be able to travel either by airplane, bus, or boat. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that these are the best cities in the Philippines to live, but to have for a home base where you're going to travel like half the time and you want a good location to live, this is my top 5. So number 1, I'm going to choose Dumaguete. Dumaguete has a great central location. It's safe from typhoons. We don't really get hit by typhoons over here. Earthquakes aren't really a thing. You'll feel some tremors from earthquakes that are happening in Mindanao, but or Leyte or Samar even, but you don't really get them in Negros so much. So I like it because here in Dumaguete we have an airport, great bus system to go around. You can even take a bus across to Cebu, and you also have a great port that you can take boats all over the place. Number 2, I choose Tagbilaran, Bohol. Again, great central location. It's great to travel with airplane. You've got buses, and you've also got the boats going all over the Philippines as well. Okay, so that's number 2 for me. And number 3, I choose Bacolod, which is also in Negros. Negros, up towards the top there, which puts you near Iloilo. So you got the airport, you got the great bus station to go all over Negros. You have the ferries, which you can head over to Iloilo. You can head over to some great islands over there, Gigantes Island, great central location. Number 4 is going to be Cebu. I know I'm not a big advocate of living in Cebu because it's starting to become so touristy and a lot of traffic and starting to become Manila reminiscent like, and therefore best city maybe to live full time. But if you're going to live there and have it as a good home base, it's a really good location and some good hospitals. So Cebu has a great location for the ferries, and you've also got a great airport in Mactan. You've also got the bus station that'll take you all over Cebu and even across into Negros. So Cebu is number 4 for me. And the last one, number 5, is Cagayan de Oro over in Mindanao. Again, great airport, buses all over the island of Mindanao. And you have great ferries that will take you all the way into Bohol, Bacolod, Cebu. So therefore, I really like it. And nice, safe city. So that is my top 5. I'm going to flash them up here as I was talking, and currently you'll see the central location. Just a good spot to kind of set up your home base and then travel half the time, and that's kind of what I'm doing. At some point, I will reevaluate a place to live when I feel like I don't really want to travel as much and I want to settle down more, and that travel bug has kind of left me a little bit. So hopefully this helps you guys if you are looking to do a lot of traveling and you want a good place for a home base. And this is my top 5 for recommendation. And questions, comments of other places that you think are good choices, go ahead and comment down below. My choice is not a definite must-have list. It's just my personal preference. But if you guys have comments or questions and choices, go ahead, comment down below, and we'll have that conversation down there. And again, don't leave the house without travel and medical insurance. You can sign up down in the description. It doesn't cost a lot. It's better to be safe than sorry. Sign up for Airbnb for a good first-time discount and enjoy your travels, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.